Good morning, everyone. You're all very welcome to this webinar. So we are going to focus on building climate resilient food system for cities and regions. My name is Giorgia Silvestri, and I'm part of the MIFRE-ADAPT team. And together we are organizing this a webinar because we really think that food systems at the moment are really under growing pressure from climate change, but also biodiversity loss and also social inequality. And so it's really important to really find ways to support transformation of food system, and at the same time to also really support climate adaptation and climate resilience by linking agriculture, sustainable agriculture, regenerative agriculture with good water management, sustainable water management, and also regenerative land use. And at the same time, by supporting and empowering local communities all around Europe and beyond. So today we are going to explore how cities and also regions they can really support this transformation by really supporting like innovative solution, new governance practices, also by facilitating multi-actor processes, and at the same time really building this solution towards more climate resilient food system. So what we aim today is to truly support also the knowledge exchange among you, and to really support you to learn from each other. But I'm gonna share a bit more what we're gonna do. So in the next slide. So yes, after this short welcoming, we are going to have a plenary session with two experts on the topic, a representative of a project and also a representative from a European city that are really sharing like good practices implemented in the different contexts. I will come back later to sharing more about the speakers. And after, we're going to have a Q&A. And you can you are very welcome to contribute to the Q&A, so you can add your questions on Slido, and also you can also share your question via the chat as well, if you prefer. And after that, since we really value also really learning from each other at the deeper level, we are going to move into a breakout session where we are going to divide into three different breakouts, where we are going to really focus on three specific topics in relation to food system transformation and climate adaptation. And after that, we're going to have a very short summary of the key insights and closing remarks and some information about next events. On the next slide, please. This is just really just a bit of a reminder of the housekeeping as part of our webinar. So everything is going to be in English. We are going to record the plenary, and the recording is going to be available after the event. So in case you would like to share it with your colleagues or check it again, but we are not going to record the breakout sessions. And please remember to keep your microphone muted unless you are wanting to share and contribute. And it will be great if you can turn on your camera so that we can all see each other, and yeah, and we can also kind of get to know each other better. And so if you would like to contribute, you can also raise your hand through WebEx. There is like a small icon with an hand on the bar at the bottom, and so your contributions are always very welcome. On the next slide. So here is just a picture of like what you can see on WebEx, so and what you can use. So you can always unmute yourself on the bottom. You can also as I just said, raise your hand, and also on the right side you can also check the participants list and also all their names, and you can also open the chat and contribute to the chat. On the next slide. Yes, and this we comes to Slido. So we are using Slido for both the Q&A and also for the breakout. So I would like to invite you to just click on this, to just open with your phone and to open the QR code. And my colleague is going to share also the link via the chat in case you prefer to use your laptop. And so for the plenary, you need to click on the red icon. So the one click where is written plenary, while during the breakout, you will need to choose the right breakout. So the breakout that you're gonna choose, but the facilitators are gonna explain you this even further in their rooms. So let's continue. Next slide. Yes, and this is just quickly that also you can change your profile on Slido. You can also add your name, and in that case, your question are going to be anonymous, are not going to be anonymous, but in case you prefer to be anonymous is also fine. And for the Q&A, you need to click on this part of the Q&A on Slido. On the next slide. Yes, so now we are coming to the more interesting part. So I would like to warmly welcome all the speakers for this event. So first of all, we have Esteban Henao, and is a project manager and currently working at the Water Energy Food Ecosystem Nexus project. And he has really extensive experience on scaling practical solutions for the green transition. And at the moment, he's working at the innovation department in Agrisat Iberia SL. And he has really a lot of experience on really supporting integrated management of water, energy, and food system. And so after the presentation by Esteban, we are also gonna hear from Marc Montleu, and is the director of environmental project at Barcelona Regional. He has a master in environmental engineering from the Catalan Institute of Technology and Polytechnic University of Catalonia, but he also has really extensive experience working from a lot of different types of organization and also authorities, like for example the Barcelona airport and other many others organizations, and has been also doing a lot of teaching activities as associate professor at the BioArc. And is going to share more about the whole regional planning and all like the integration of food system transformation and climate adaptation in Barcelona city. So after the plenary part and this presentation by these two speakers, we are going to move to the breakouts. And the first breakout is going to be sorry, for the first breakout is going to focus on agroecology, regenerative farming, and climate resilience agriculture. And we are going to hear a presentation by Javier Samper Calvete, and is currently a project coordinator as part of DRIAD project, but is also really a full professor of civil engineering at the University of La Coruña, and he's been like really working for many years on different very successful projects, really on focusing on different themes, but for example on hydrology and water resources management. And he has been really working in different like sectors, and is going to share more about the insight from the DRIAD project as part of the breakout. In the second breakout, we are going to focus on participatory governance and community-based approaches. And in this case, we have two speakers, Andreas Paulus, sorry if I didn't pronounce it correctly, and Alexandros Kandarakis. So Andreas is the research director at the Soil and Water Management at the Hellenic Agricultural Organization, and his work is being dedicated to advances sustainable water and soil management, and also strengthening resilience through social ecological um, uh, dimensions. And as well, Alexandro is been specialized in communication and also in project management. And they're gonna share about the process of developing a whole participatory process in integrating food system transformation and also climate adaptation in Greece. In the third, last but not least, in the third breakout, we are going to focus on actionable roadmaps and innovative business and financial models. And in this case, we are going to have Stefan Karajankovic, that is a finance and project manager at the moment working at the European funded project Klima Pannonia, and is a project manager at the Institute for Development and Innovation in Serbia. And he has extensive experience in working in EU funded projects, and in the Climate Pannonia is a work package leader and has been coordinating different activities focusing on assessing socio-ecological and environmental benefits of different system solutions for climate resilient agriculture. So this is like a bit about the speakers, but we are gonna hear more directly from them. So on the next slide, please. Yes, so this is just a reminder for you to open Slido, and the Q&A is already open. And now I would like to pass the word to the first speakers, Esteban, and now that is going to share more about the WEFE Nexus project. The floor is yours, Esteban.
Thank you, Georgia, for that wonderful introduction, and thanks again for the invitation. I'm very pleased to contribute to this discussion on climate resilient food systems. I hope all you can hear me really well, and the idea today is that I will talk about my experience working in the region of the Júcar River Basin. It's been so far about 5 years now working in the region through innovation actions. Initiatives, and I will speak about the main lessons I learned and hopefully giving some practical advices to different actors who are interested on food systems and yeah, so we can start. So next slide, please. So my message today is that food systems are not only affected by climate change, they are also one of the most effective entry points when we talk about climate adaptation. If we want resilience at any level, we need to look at how water, food, land, ecosystems, and governance interact as well. And food security does not exist in isolation. It depends on the wider relationship between water, energy, and ecosystems, which together can create a stability for food supply. No? And this is why climate adaptation in food systems cannot be treated as purely as an agricultural issue. It is a territorial issue and increasingly a governance issue. So yeah, next one. So what is the Nexus approach? The word comes from connection. The concept recognizes the interdependencies that these sectors have. It's relatively easy to understand, but to put it in practice, sometimes it's more difficult. But the idea behind is that we want to secure water, energy, and food while protecting ecosystems and boosting biodiversity. Here are some numbers that show these connections, and the pressure on the system is already evident. So agriculture accounts for the majority of global water withdrawals with 72%, and the agri-food sector remains highly dependent on energy. Much of it is still fossil-based. That means food system resilience is closely linked to water availability, energy security, and the conditions of ecosystem. So when climate shocks intensified, of course, the vulnerability of the whole food systems increases. Next one. A little bit of context about my region, the region that I'm working on, the Júcar River Basin. I believe it's a useful example because it shows how these pressures can play it out in a real territory. It's a strategically important agricultural area with a strong environmental value and high dependence on water governance. So we are talking here about the large area. The whole district accounts for around almost 43,000 square kilometers, about 8% of the national territory. So we are talking about the large area. It's located in the eastern part of the country. There are main cities such as Valencia, Alicante, Albacete. The whole name of the district is Júcar River Basin District due to one of the most important rivers that we have in the region, which is Júcar River, with more than 500 kilometers. The coastal area, it's about 574 kilometers. So we are talking about large competences, competitive with the water uses, no? So we have a large area, and in that sense, well, it reflects a broader European challenge, how to maintain productivity capacity, ecological integrity, and also social resilience under increasing climate stress. Here I just left one link. If you want more information detailed about the basin, just go through the website of the River Basin Authority, and also that's the hydrological plan where you can extract more information in case you're interested. Next slide, please. So there are many factors that affect one system, but if I had to identify one factor, it would be water. Food system resilience depends heavily on how water is allocated, protected, and governed. Climate change is increasing drought risk, reducing natural water resources, and that is the current tendency. And again, intensified competition between the different uses that we have now. As for agriculture, water consumption is about 78% of total resources, with out of those 78%, around 80%, about 55% are from surface water bodies, and 41 about the groundwater extractions, and the rest is for reuse water processing. So for cities and regions, this makes water governance a core part of adaptation planning. So again, we are not just facing the droughts, we are facing the flooding events as well, like the one that we had last October 2024 in Valencia. Next slide, please. So what we see in practice is that the system is already under pressure. Surface water and groundwater bodies are being stressed, and the implications are significant. And this is precisely why adaptation needs to move beyond reactive responses. It must be built into planning, monitoring, and long-term decision making. Here, just 3 maps for you to have an idea on the spatial distribution. The first one and the second one are related to surface water extraction for agricultural and livestock, and the one in the middle is for groundwater bodies. No, so you can see a spatial distribution. The one in the left, it's for the groundwater bodies that doesn't meet the environmental objective. This is due to mainly nitrate pollution. On top of scarcity, on top of extractions, we have intensive agriculture in the region. So a lot of pressure. So yeah, just for you to have an idea. Next one. That was a little bit about the context. What I'm doing there, the approach shown in here is important because it combines stakeholder engagement, problem framing, qualitative, quantitative analysis, and scenario-based thinking. And that matters because effective adaptation is not delivered through technical solutions alone. It requires shared understanding, practical cooperation, and adaptive management. So a central aspect of the WEFE approach is the participation of stakeholders since the beginning of our initiatives. We try to involve key actors. So next one, please. So here are just some projects that currently I'm working on in the region. For more information, I encourage you to just go through in Rexus and Nexus Labs. I'm a team member in SpongeWorks. I'm supporting the Cuca River Basin Authority on MBS. And we have actually in here experts for the breakout rooms that are involved in these initiatives as well. So science becomes essential. I think the objective is not only to analyze the problem, but to support real implementation on the ground. So that's what we are trying to do in the region. And in other words, I believe science should help public authorities and stakeholders to identify what is feasible, what is scalable, and what can create the gains, not resilient gains. Just to add here, parentheses, thanks for the EC, to the EC, to European Commission for funding these initiatives. Next one. What we found there is that there are some complementary pathways for reinforcing food security under climate pressure. And here's just one example: smart farming, nature-based solutions, and agroecology. We can improve efficiency and precision. We can strengthen soils and improve drought resilience, and as well we can support ecosystem health and resource retention now. So the key point is that resilience comes from combining these measures in a coherent portfolio rather than just having one simple measure to address one challenge. So that would be a message. Next slide, please. So monitoring is critical. So climate adaptation cannot rely only on assumptions. It has to be assessed. So that is particularly true when we talk about nature-based approaches, where we need to understand not only whether an intervention has been implemented, but whether it's delivering the expected benefits. So just to say that we're working very much on the ground. Next slide, please. So within the project, we did some analysis, and here's just an example where evidence can support decision making. We're doing the life cycle assessment, energy accounting and footprints, climate risk assessments, well, with audits. But this is just an example about water footprint analysis and crop water consumption and similar indicators, I believe, that help clarify actual demand, resource allocations, and trade-offs now. So for policymakers, I think this could be valuable because it supports prioritization, transparency, and better alignment between planning instruments and territorial needs. We can do we can know how much water is consumed by any land use in the territory at different scales, since plot, irrigation community, aquifer, and also basin, but also national level. And these was included actually into the hydrological plan of the Cuca River. Next one. I hope you all can see the table. The recommendations here show that climate resilient food systems require coordination across sectors and actors. My message here is that we all have a role to play. And the common thread, I would say, is clear. We need simpler pathways for implementation, a stronger knowledge transfer, and better integration across policy domains. No? If I may go really fast one by one, I'd say public authorities support science and prioritize solutions that can be integrated into their day-to-day use. Policymakers, better alignment on their frameworks, common agricultural policy, energy frameworks, biodiversity frameworks as well, and perhaps mention just incentivize the role of advisors. Farmers prioritize viable adoption solutions with the support of advisory services, researchers, avoid duplication and collaborate more. Water managers, more transparency and knowledge transfer. Consultants keep being the bridge between the science, policy, and people. EU institutions accelerate the transition away from fossil fuel dependency, and companies keep doing the efforts and research and development on new products that I know that they're doing that. We are facing some critical challenges,
Yes,
such as
Esteban, sorry to interrupt. It's just to tell you that you have really like last minute to wrap up the discussion.
I just have last comment. Thank you. I was told to say that what are the challenges, the remaining challenges? I would say scaling up. It's a big thing for us. We are working great at experimental sites and different plots, but we need to accelerate that. So next one, just to go really fast. Here's just final remarks. Let's talk about the integrated food systems. We need to consider water, food, ecosystems, and resilience, build strategies that rather than isolated solutions, and increase cooperation. Next slide. I'm here just finished. This is my last slide. I just like to thank all my teams and everyone who contributed somehow to their participation in many bilateral regional meetings and workshops, interviews, and so on. And I just to say that I will try to continue having real impact on the ground. And thank you all for the invitation again.
Many thanks, Esteban, for this very insightful presentation. You shared really a lot of very good insights. Thanks again. And now I would like to give the word to Marc Montleu. So he's going to share more about healthy and sustainable food in Barcelona Challenge for Good Food and the Climate. And so I would like to pass the word to you, Marc.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Thanks for inviting us. It's an honor to be here, a pleasure sharing with you. And actually, it's amazing that you invite us because as a city, we are really dense and compact and we have non-agricultural land in our soil. So it's I will try to share what we're doing for the food system. Obviously, we're talking about metropolitan and regional level, and the food systems, as you know, are really complex. Many of the groceries that the city uses are produced obviously abroad. But regarding this, we're doing anyway an effort as a city, very dense and compact with more than 1.7 million inhabitants, because the food system, as you know, is produces more than one third of the global CO2 emissions. So we have to consider this in our climate policies. And if you go to the next slide, please. Yeah, Barcelona has been involved in the challenge for good food and climate. So the idea is to tackle in two ways, as climate mitigation and climate adaptation. So we have more than a lot of urban allotments in this dense city that I was describing, that we will see further on. But the policies are regarding governance actions. Obviously, food system is really close and related to health issues for young ones mainly. So we work a lot with schools and primary age schools. Also with social and economic equity for food production at metropolitan and regional level, and also further abroad. The other is distribution and chain supplies, what we can do to producers that are close to our city, engage them to be there. So we have also, we will see some of the markets, the close producers market that we have. And then also we're really worried, as many other cities, in food waste. So how the food chain at the end of the loop, how it's used. Next slide, please. Yeah, we will talk about 4 examples mainly. One, it's more related to policies, municipal policies and strategies from a local government. It's really very difficult to work on food systems. You know it, for sure you're more expert than me in food production, so that's very complex. But since we have a lot of consumers, in a city, we think we must have a policy regarding this, and we will talk about the policies that Barcelona has been implementing. We also have a natural park in Barcelona and in the surrounding municipalities. We're trying to recover agricultural soil in this natural park. There has been a lot of process of afforestation, so increasing forest, because agriculture has been abandoned, but we're trying to recover here some agricultural land, and we'll talk about this, and trying to recover also some varieties of species that were anxiously grown here in Collserola Natural Park. Then we'll talk about urban agriculture, because our agriculture has to be urban, because we're a very dense and already built city. And we develop it in the framework of a European project called Connexus, the Urban Agriculture Observatory of Barcelona. So all the urban allotments are registered there that we have in the city. And then we will talk more about metropolitan scale, these producers that are outside of the city of Barcelona, but related to the markets that the local markets that Barcelona has in the neighborhoods. Next slide, please. Yeah, one of the first issues that we did as a city, and that was difficult, and for sure it can be improved, but because there's a lot of lack of data and you have to do a lot of hypotheses, is that we tried, that was done like 3 or 4 years ago. It's on the website, so if you look at it at the City Hall website, you will find the full report. We try to calculate the CO2 emissions linked to the food system of the city, of the consumption of the food at city level, because for cities, traditionally, we count CO2 emissions, but if at the very beginning of the presentation, I talked about adaptation and mitigation. If we want to mitigate, we have to know what are the CO2 emissions related to the food system of the city. So that's based on the consumption of not only the citizens in Barcelona, the activity that Barcelona has. We have many visitors, commuters, tourists, and obviously people that are residents and neighbors of our city. So we try to calculate that, and we will see some results. It's difficult because we have to count. It's more easy to have data on food production. There are good statisticals. It's really difficult for us when we have to gather data of distribution and inside the consumption inside the city at level, because normally those data is more regional or aggregated for communities, for autonomous communities, or administrative limits that are much bigger than the city. So you have to do many hypotheses. Next slide, please. Yeah, here well, that's what we traditionally do as cities. We calculate the emissions related to our activity, mainly energy consumption, fossil fuel consumption for mobility and other purposes, airport, harbor activities. That's on the left-hand side. Barcelona is dense and compact, so per capita emissions are quite low. We have 3.4 million tons emissions equivalents per year. But if we the number that we did and we calculate for the food system, it's 2.5 per year. So cities are mitigating or trying to fight the mitigation to climate change, only considering normally the left-hand side emissions. But if you look to the food system that a city has, and that's the first study that we did as a city for approximation, it's that number. So it's almost quite big. It's almost 70% of the emissions related to city. So food systems normally, obviously, they are included in the global emissions. I mentioned it, they are 1/3 approximately of the CO2 emissions at global level, but we don't know what cities are doing. So if you want to do a policy, you have to know, okay, where we are more or less, and we try to do then some actions. Obviously, those actions are quite difficult because from a local government, it's difficult to make incidents and to propose things that are produced really far away. Some products are coming from thousands of kilometers, others from other countries or from other parts of Spain. So that's really complex, but you can do things. Next slide, please. Yeah, we have those documents. There's links on the presentation, so you can consult them. Barcelona has a healthy and sustainable food strategy towards 2030. We will talk about some of the measures. The new climate plan that it's approved and it's also linked there, and nurseries for climate. So we're working a lot because nurseries depend on the local government. So we're working a lot. What are the menus on those schools with a smaller child at city level? We can do a lot. We can focus on what we buy, what they produce, what they are consuming, what they provide to the child in the schools, and also already from engaging a sustainable food system from really very small. And we do this at city level for schools that are related to the local government and also link it to the local markets. Next, please. Yeah, those are old figures and numbers. We have producers markets. Obviously, since we don't have agricultural soil in our municipal territory, all the producers are from outside Barcelona, but in the vicinities, in the Parc Agrario of the Llobregat or in Maresma area on Vallès, so really close to Barcelona. Now, in 2020, we had 7 producers markets weekly on the city of Barcelona, normally on public space, in public squares. Now we have 11. We try to have, it's not exactly like this. We have 10 districts at city level, so we try to have some equity on districts, so you can have a local producers markets close to your house, to your home. Then we have a public system of local markets, which belong to the city hall and they are run by the city hall. Obviously, inside each local market there are private owners of the shops, but we created how we say this, like a mark or a brand talking about green commerce. So the producers that provide with local food or ecological meat or ecological food have this type of label at the commerce, and we promote this not only in markets, also in local shops surrounding along the city. We also work with school canteens, so those are one of the things that cities can do. Also, from the very beginning in schools, there are all the people, all the childs that are in schools, so we can provide menus or healthy menus and sustainable menus, and try to also work the recycling of all these products that are leftovers. And then we have nowadays, 2026, we have more than 500 urban allotments within the city. Most of the urban allotments, not all, are related also to schools. So we grow vegetables in the schools, obviously not related to the menus, but yes, related to, an understanding from the very childhood, since they live in a city, so they are not really related to the production and agricultural procedures, and maybe they don't know from where the lettuce come from or tomatoes. So that's why we try to provide urban allotments in school. Next, please.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Sorry, just to flag that you have only 1 minute left.
Wow, that's okay. That's the Natural Park of Collserola. We're trying to recover here agriculture and food production, and trying to recover some varieties. And Can Calopa, it's a municipal. We grow there olive, and we produce olive oil for the city hall, and wine. Also, it's an inclusive project because it's run by social entity. Next, please. Yeah, that's what we are producing in different parts of Collserola, and what we're doing also with honey. That's not only Barcelona, it's 9 municipalities in Barcelona. Next, please. Yeah, those are the framework of the promoting green infrastructure networks and Hands to the Green program, where the urban agriculture observatory is located. Next, please. Yeah, that's the Urban Agriculture Observatory. You have the link, so you will check it. Next. Normally, we have several types of urban allotments related to schools, the majority, also related to neighbors and communities. And there are a network of public urban allotments related more to elder people for activity and to produce their vegetables. Next. yeah, this is the network. You see now that we are more than 500 urban allotments spread in the whole city. As you see, well, they are located in the urban fabric, inside the urban fabric. Next. You can check this on the website. We're looking also, we talk about climate adaptation, how normally all these urban allotments are located in schools, so provide also trees, shades, and also located in parks, so related to green infrastructure and providing shade and biodiversity also. Next, please. And here we have some analysis of thermal behavior. This is Can Mestres, which is one of the urban allotments. You see the lowering of the temperature in this area. Next, please. And also we work with social environmental services that those urban allotments are providing. This is also reachable by the website of the Urban Agriculture Observatory. Next. Yeah, and this is, we go outside Barcelona, and this is a work that the Strategic Metropolitan Plan did. They gather all the information of the producers surrounding Barcelona, so you can check what they are producing. If they sell, you can go there and check. So getting this information and put it together and sharing it with all the public, it's also very useful. So you can know where to buy artichokes, maybe in the Prat, in the Delta del Llobregat, or where to buy some varieties of products, asparagus that are really popular and famous in Gavà, Viladecans. So you have here all the producers that are really close to the city. Next. Yeah, and this is also the sustainable commerce that I was talking you with the green label of proximity commerce, that they sell ecological food, ecological produces, ecological meat, also vegetables from 0 kilometer produce. Next. Yeah, and the challenge. Normally, this is difficult to maintain, to gather this data and to have it updated. We need compromise from the politicians. It's not always there. It depends on elections, and sometimes it's more strong in sustainable food strategy. Sometimes it's lower engagement. So, but it's a must because, as I mentioned, it's 1/3 of the global emissions. So we have to be there as a city with this challenge and trying to tackle these emissions. Yeah, and also sometimes we have very difficulties in bureaucracy and legal issues, because since we don't have agricultural soil in Barcelona, some of the urban allotments are located in different types of qualifications, like green zones or public equipments, and this is also legal issues that we have there that we have to attend. Next.
Hi, Mark. Sorry to interrupt, but I
Yeah,
would like to invite
yeah.
you to, yes, thank you a lot.
And some lessons learned that I mentioned already: political commitment, cross-administration collaboration. We need to understand with other municipalities in the vicinity, talking with the regional government at different levels, with other parts of the territory, and then also with the local producers. I will finish here since we don't have much more time. Thank you for inviting us and for being here.
Many thanks, Mark. This was really super interesting, like so many also things that are happening. So thanks a lot for sharing. So now I would like to invite participants to share their questions. Like I see one questions actually from the chat. So regarding the school canteens, is it initiated by the city or is actually more a voluntary basis? And also it is a great way to provide kids access to a healthy diet and to tackle sustainability issue. But I wanted to understand regarding the affordability side. Are these meals subsidized? So Mark, would you like to share an answer regarding this question?
Sorry?
Yes, sorry. So there is a question regarding the school canteens. So is this an initiative from the city or is it at voluntary basis? And also in terms of the affordability, are the meals subsidized?
Yeah, it's an initiative shared with not only from the city. The city doesn't run the schools, but it's inside a consortium that is related with the city and the autonomous government, la Generalitat de Catalunya. So there is a specific consortium only for Barcelona, and that's the consortium promotes this. So we try to, from the city hall, engage this consortium, and also it's related to fathers, to fathers and mothers, so families. What we call the AMPAs. It's the Association of Fathers and Mothers belonging to each school. That there is, so one is coming from bottom, so people, the families that are engaged with the school, they force and sometimes they push really hard to the schools, and then from the city hall we push the consortium, and then there's like agreements, and with most of the this is related to public schools, not private schools. Obviously, private schools are like aside, and this we help them. We provide information, documentation. There's also they share between schools and association of mothers and fathers. So I think it's more like from bottom up and side pushing from the city hall and the education consortium of Barcelona. Yeah. There is small subsidies, yes, also.
Many thanks, Mark. Thanks a lot for sharing all this further information. Any other questions? You can also you can write it in the chat, or you can also share it via Slido. I see Julia as her hand raised, so please feel free to share.
Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Mark. I'm Julia. I'm also from the Mission for Adaptation team, but I had two questions. I hope they were not covered and I somehow missed them. Or maybe you mentioned, I'm not sure, you also covered other forms of public procurement. For instance, in public servant public procurement. And I ask it because when the European Commission had the Sustainable Food System initiative that then has been parked for the moment.
Julia, sorry, we cannot hear you. Sorry to interrupt. We cannot hear you very well. Maybe you can try to turn off your camera, because it seems like your voice is interrupting. Let's see if now it's better.
Can you tell
yes,
me
now
if
it seems
okay.
Now it seems better.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
So sorry for that. I was asking if alongside the public canteen, you also covered other types of public procurement, because in the former Sustainable Food System initiative that the European Commission had started and then paused for the moment, which we hope will be reinvigorated. They also covered other types, for instance, the canteens in government buildings and offices, regional office, so all the canteens related to public, basically. So I was wondering whether that's maybe also an idea. And then just as a curiosity, because we also worked on a Mission Soil, which is another cluster, so to say, of research projects. Just they talk a lot about urban agriculture and agriculture in urban settings. So even if you don't have the so-called agricultural soil, they have a lot of, so just like, I don't know, and maybe for you it could be interesting to give a look, maybe you can participate in something, because there is quite some interest now in producing food in urban areas, even when there is not really agricultural soil. So thank you. I'll try to put again my camera. Now it should be better.
Yeah, okay. I will try to go really fast. I understood this is for me. We don't have public canteens at city level for governance. We used to have many, like 3 decades maybe or more ago. So no public canteens. I know Paris has it, and they are doing a really good job in food, really close food producers close to the Paris in the canteens of the city hall, but we don't have it, so we don't work in this specific. The other question is that when I was mentioning that we don't have agricultural soil, it's related to legal problems. I mean, if you want to produce honey in Barcelona and sell it, you won't get a permit because it's related. I mean, the permit to as a producer, it's linked to the urban report telling you that you're producing food or you're producing something in a legal aspect in a soil that it's qualified as agricultural land. And we don't have any agricultural land qualified as agricultural land. So all that we produce, it's for consumption, for your own consumption, in even schools. I mean, they take it to their house, bring it to the families, they can eat it at school. The network of urban allotments from the city hall that is related to elder people or to social entities, they produce it, they cannot sell. It's forbidden. You cannot sell any of the vegetables that you produce at city level. It's very different from other parts of Spain that the previous presentation was talking about Valencia. They have a wonderful agricultural land close to the city, and La Horta, they produce really nice food, but they still have agricultural soil. We don't have it at all. We have to look outside the city of Barcelona. That's why we look at metropolitan scale. And yes, we have a park that is protected by law, which is the Parc Agrari del Llobregat in the delta of the Llobregat. And there we can find local producers, and there is obviously regular and it's legal to produce, but not at city level. I mean, you can produce, but it's for yourself or to share with your friends and your family, not to sell. That's why I was mentioning this. Yeah, we even producing. There are some projects that they are producing on rooftops in public facilities for social inclusion also. So we try to produce everywhere. And for soil, it's one way of permeabilizing soil at city level, but you can do it some places normally related to parks or public facilities, but not everywhere in a really dense city like Barcelona. Thank you.
Thank you.
Many thanks, Mark, and also Julia, for the question. So all of this is very interesting. So we could ask a lot of questions to both of the speakers. So thanks again for sharing all these insights. But now it's time to go in the breakout session. So in the next slide again, please. Yes, so we are going to have a session of a bit less than 40 minutes. So we are, as part of the breakout, we are going to have a presentation by a speaker that is going to be followed by a short Q&A, and then we are going to have a facilitated discussion where you can all share your challenges, strategies, and lessons learned in relation to the topic of the breakout. Next slide, please. So as a reminder, these are the three breakouts. So the first one is focusing on agroecology, regenerative farming, and climate resilient agriculture. And there is going to be Javier Samper Calvete that is going to share their experiences in relation to the DRIAD project. And the second one, we are going to have Andreas Panagopoulos and Alexandros Kondarakis, and they're going to share about the participatory process and community-based process that has been facilitated in Greece. And in the last breakout is going to focus more on actionable roadmaps and innovative business model and financing models. And we're going to have Stefan Karakovic that is going to represent the Klima Pannonia project, and is going to share on insight from the project as well. So you're very welcome to join the session that you prefer. You are gonna see like this popping up like kind of a request directly from WebEx. So you can choose the breakout that you're more interested in, and the breakout is gonna close directly automatically. So yeah, you're very now welcome to join the breakout, and we are gonna see each other again in the plenary in a short while. For this, I always prefer like in-person events, so we have the time to kind of move from one room to another. But this is it. So from my breakout, we had very interesting insight shared by Alex and Andreas. Thanks again for those. And they shared like also some very interesting suggestions of how to engage more meaningfully participants, and also how to make them feel really part of the process. So as they were saying, like really treat them as real contributors, as real person, as part of it. And they shared also, of course, the challenge of the time, so that there is really the need of time to truly engage participants. And also we had some discussion in with other participants also on, like, for example, how to communicate with them, how to make sure that they also understand like the topic, how to make them more engaged, like also finding like more innovative ways of engaging them, like for example through a social media campaign, or by developing different and also more different ways of engaging, and make them really feel owning kind of the process. So thanks again. I would like also now to ask Giulia if she can share like a main takeaway from our session.
Yeah, thank you, Georgia. So our session was short, but still very interesting, and just really a couple of points. So one thing that really that was for me very interesting to hear in the icebreaker, sorry, when we talked about what's our relationship with the topic, why are we there, and like one topic was mentioned about generational renewal from one of the participants, and it was quite interesting. I didn't expect it maybe to see it there, because the with the and the
Sorry, Giulia, we are having again some issues to hear you. Maybe you
okay, I
can
don't know
turn
why
off
every
your.
time
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know, in the breakout it worked perfectly. I don't know why in the plenary. But so the generation renewal as one of the main also lever for achieving the transition. And for me, it was quite a surprise also to see this, I thought, in a more technical, let's say, session. And then we had the very interesting presentation from Javier from his project. And there is really the main takeaways that to really scale up and make the nature-based solution impactful, we really need to, and so to move them from just pilot to actual implementation and adoption, we need to demonstrate in a quantitative way their effectiveness. And the fact that to do that, we really need to have hand in hand. So it's what the project is doing, the more quantitative modeling, but also to co-create this with the stakeholders. So to also have stakeholder engagement. So to have these two really together, and this will make so that the challenges are in implementing the nature-based solution will be tackled. So to move from just piloting them to actually implementing them. And then we had a discussion at the end that was about the water management and how it plays out in different regions of Spain even. Sorry
Many thanks, Giulia. That's sounds super interesting as well. Now I would like to pass the word to Remy for sharing the main insight from his session.
Yeah, so we were very few in our session, so it's a shame because the presentation from Stefan was super interesting and the topic is very interesting. But I think one of the main takeaway from the project Clima Pannonia is that they're developing roadmaps to provide a solution in the agricultural sector, and especially to strengthen climate resilience in the agricultural sector. And I think the main point that we discussed as well was related to those roadmaps. So first, they represent concrete phases that has to be followed with specific action and activities that can be undertaken. And at the same time, the roadmap can serve as a document for recommendations for policymakers. And the key points from the discussion that we had was that cooperation is very key across different actors, but also across different level of governance.
Many thanks, Remy. Yeah, thanks a lot also to all the participants. And I would like just to share just a few words for the closing. Next slide, please. Next again. Yes, so your feedback is super valuable to us so that we can learn and also improve our next event. So it will be great if you can click on this QR code and answer to these very quick questions. Next slide. Yes, so if you could open to, so just go to the first question. Yes, so we would like to invite you to give us a feedback and share how satisfied are you with the overall content of this session, and you can rate from 1 not satisfied to 5 very satisfied. It would be great if you can do this. As perfect, we see that a majority are very satisfied and satisfied. That's good. We can pass to the next question. And here we are asking you, what did you find the most valuable about this event? And you can also share if you have suggestion for improvement. Okay, the projects, so the cases that were shared, that's good to hear. Just wait a moment. Let's see, participants are answering. Okay, I think we can go to the next question already, and we can check these. So are there other topics that you wish that we would cover in the next sessions? So food supply chains, that's an interesting topic indeed. So yes, please take your time to answer these, and we are going to take all your answer into consideration. Biodiversity, that's a good one. Thanks a lot. We can go back to the main presentation. Yes, so just a few information before closing. We are going to share with you the recording of the event and also all the presentation with you after the event. You're going to find them on Futurium on the page of the event, and also you're going to receive them via email. And also we are going to share a summary report with the key findings and takeaways from this session. And also just for you to know, we have a lot of events that we're planning to organize. There is going to be one focusing on assessing adaptation action outcomes on the 26th of June, and another one focusing on health and well-being on the 9th of July. And also, if you want to receive like all the information and updates from MIFRADAPT, you can subscribe to our newsletter. And also, you're very welcome to join the community of practice. So you can request the access to the community, and you after that you're really part of it, and you will receive like all the invites of all events and activities. And next slide. Yes, and this also is very interesting open training session that is going to happen next week on the 25th of June, and is organized by the Resilience Plus project, and is focusing on agriculture and also really connecting water risk and financing for really supporting resilience. So you're very welcome to participate as well. So I want to thank you very much for participating, and thanks again to the speakers for their wonderful presentation and for sharing all the insight with us. And I wish you a very good day, and I hope to see you soon as part of this community.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you.
nice day, you too.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.